Hello everyone. I get quarters like this often that are damaged and worn out, and you wonder exactly what happened to them. This one almost looks like someone beat on it with a hammer, but we'll never know for sure what happened because I didn't do it and that's how it was. Now I got an interesting serial number on this $10 bill. You look at it, it's 53636258. Kind of close to being interesting, like a repeater almost, although not quite. So it's probably going to get spent, but I thought it was a neat looking thing that made me stop for a moment when I saw it, wondering if I actually had something. Now we are going to get to the basis of why I'm going live tonight. This is going to be a silver university type thing. So first up, bought this a few weeks ago. It's dateless. It's a standing Liberty quarter that's worn. I weighed it. It's not down that much. It weighed 5.9 grams on my scale. At the time I bought it, the silver was worth about 0.92 cents per gram. So at $5 when I bought this, turns out it was 42 cents under melt. And that's not a bad buy, in my opinion. Now, we pick up the silver dollars I bought the other day, a couple days ago on Friday. Now, I pull them out of this Ziploc bag. They both have holes, but combined weight of both of them, these $2 coins, was 52.49 grams. Oh, make me cool. 52.49 grams, 90% silver the day I bought it was worth about 9.37 at the time, give or take. So it turns out those $2 coins by melt value alone is 49.18 by their weight. The actual weight of the coins, not what they started at, which put them about $1.18 under melt. Now, where is that walker? I had a walker sitting out here. It is. Now, my scale might be slightly off, but I weighed this one, and it's not worn hardly at all. The rim, a little wear right on the top, and on the back, right down the eagle. But it weighed 12.48 grams or so, so it's barely down. These start at 12.5. Now, there's a reason why I weighed it. When I bought it, it's probably $6 or $7, so it's been a while since I bought it, several years. It's part of this tube of 90% silver coins, which includes 1964 Kennedys. There's 5 of them in here, I think, and 4 Benjamin Franklins, and the rest are Walkers. 20 total coins. But the reason why I say that is because I got $2 half today. If you watched my live last night, you remember I said I could probably get a JFK or Benjamin Franklin, maybe even a Walker, for about $11.50, maybe 12 or $12.50. Well, my coin dealer just happened to have this one. $11, 1917. It's worn quite a bit more. It started looking, when it started, looked a lot like this. but it stayed in circulation all through the Depression, you know, and so it's worn quite a bit. Now I took this whole thing and weighed all of it. I came up with 12.25 grams total. That's with the card, the staples, all of it. Now, I'm guessing this is probably about 11.5 grams from ones I've weighed before that are worn like this. So 11.5 grams. And then this 52 has one less staple on it. It weighs 14.7, and given it has mint luster and not very much wear, it's an AU coin probably. It's probably about 12.4 grams something, maybe close to 12.5. But the reason why I say that is because at today's price, 11.5 grams, the last price I had on silver melt for a $0.50 works out to 94.72 cents per gram. So, and that's just taking how much it weighs times, and then 12.5 grams. Oh, not what it weighs, but the melt value according to the melt calculator, and then dividing it by 12.5, I come up with 94.72. So this particular coin, it weighs 11.5 grams at $11, puts the melt on this at 10.89. So Silver University melt, silver, melt value of silver tells me this is a little over melt even at $11. And then this one, if it's 12.4 grams, its value would be 11.74 by melt. So it's about 26 cents over melt. Now, the real reason why I bring that up is these two worked out to be under melt, and one reason why silver dollars start at a heavier weight. These start at 12.5 grams on all the Walkers and JFK 64. 12.5 grams. Some of the seated Liberty $0.50 start at 12.5 grams, but there's differing weights. So you take these two at $23 total price. They are just a little over melt. One of these was 24, and it's under melt. And the reason why it's under melt is because it weighs more overall. I mean, 52.49, this one's worn more than this one. The weight ain't a whole lot different because that's a bigger hole. But you take these two coins and you got 52.49 grams roughly. And it was 93.7 cents roughly when I bought them. And silver rose a little bit because it's now worth 94.72 per gram. So these would be even a little more than $1.18 under melt right now. But that's how much under melt they were because they weigh more than two. One of them weighs more than two $0.50 put together. Two of these that aren't worn very much is 25 grams, and these are 26. I think 26.4 for one and 24 or 26.4 for the other. And come up with about 52.5 grams roughly. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind when you're buying silver. If you can get silver dollars like these with damage under melt by the actual weight of the coin per gram versus buying two of these, you're going to get more silver from these, and it's going to be harder to buy a Walker that isn't holed and is probably at least extra fine to maybe even AU on this one because it's barely worn. But I mean, if I bought this today, it'd probably be 12 or 13, maybe $14. It's a common date one. The 1941 is. It's very. They made a lot of them. 1917. Pretty sure they made a lot of them, and they made a lot of Benjamin Franklin's. And one thing about Benjamin Franklin's, I always feel like I never have enough of them. I never buy enough of them either. I usually end up buying Walkers or JFK's 64s. So we flatten these staples with this because I don't want AU coins getting scratched in a box, collector box with other coins by, if they get tight and you start pulling them out, that raised piece of the staple could scratch the plastic off and scratch the coin some, because a steel staple like this is tougher than 90% silver is. 90% silver is pretty soft compared to stainless steel or whatever these staples are made out of. It might not be stainless, it might just be some kind of steel. And it might have some alloys in it, like a little aluminum or tin. But that is pretty much going over this, and I wrote out on this card the key information about it. The Standing Liberty quarter, when I bought it, what it was, how much it weighed, 5.9 grams, how much it was per gram at that time roughly, and how it was under. And then I did the same for the two silver dollars that together and what it was when I bought them, and I paid $48 or 24 a piece for them. I ended up under melt. And that Walker I paid about $7 several years ago when silver is much lower than it is now. And at its last price, that $9.94.72, if I sold it for melt today, because it was 12.48 grams times 0.9472 equals 1182. So not a little less than what one that ain't worn is, because one that came out to 12.5 even would be probably 1183. At least that's what the melt calculator said. So there's one thing to keep in mind. Now, the other thing about GFK 64s, most of these weigh 12.5 grams because nobody really circulated them. Not too many of them ever got circulated at all. Most of them are like this one. You can see mint luster on it. I didn't weigh this one, but I'm sure it weighs 12.5 grams. And if it ain't, it's like 12.49, 12.48, something like that. On this one, I can pretty much assure you would weigh 12.5 grams. You can see the mint luster on it. And you can see that on his face, there's barely any marks at all in the high spots. A few slight bag marks, that's about it. It's about as nice as these come, unless you got them as soon as they were minted in a tube and never got jumbled around at all. And when it's like this, if you're keeping it in a tube, you want to always handle it by the rims so you don't fingerprint it. Some people wear gloves handling these, but unfortunately for 64 Kennedys, the chance of getting a price that's more than melt on a common date one is pretty low. So you take that Walker and put it back in the tube. All of them are Walkers. There's 4 more GFKs. And there are 4 Franklins, which this one has the appearance of being a proof one. It's a 63. That's also a 63. 51, and then a 62. And that's why I say I think This is a proof. Look how shiny it is when the light hits it. And then look at this 62. It's, see the mint luster, but it's not shiny. So that's why I think those are proofs. But they made a lot of the proofs of these towards the end of when they were making these in 62 and 63, last couple years. They made a lot of them. And they made a ton of these JFK coins. But stackers like these because usually they're 12.5 grams each. Uh, the you usually don't have one that's worn. I do have one that someone pocket carried so much that the date got worn off of it though. Hello, Win. But there is one little thing about some of these to know. Occasionally, there's a few of them known. I don't know how many. That little FG there, it's hard to see it, is not there at all. And those are actually worth a little bit more than what a standard, because the 64 Kennedy even graded mint state, say I had this one graded and they slapped a mint state 62 or something on it, it'd be hard to sell it for any money. They're just too common, and no one really collects them because they're so common. It's the stuff that's really low mintage that makes it something you can get a price out of. Like in Walker's, the 1921 year, they didn't make very many of them because they were so busy making 21 Morgan dollars. The mints were very busy making these to the tune of making over 80 million total. 46 million or so Philadelphia, and over 20 million Denvers and San Francisco were made, and this is Denver. So, but always keep in mind, if you can buy a silver dollar at melt for, or under melt for its weight, even worn, taking that in consideration, weigh the coin, the grams, and then you have an idea how much you are under melt. And when you can buy these for $24 and the hole is small like this, it makes them under melt. And let's just see how much it is today, because if he was open and I went there and bought him, he'd probably sell me more at the same price, $24. So we have 52.49. That's what it weighed, times 0.9472. That's how much this stuff is worth per gram at melt today, including all the metal in it, the copper and the silver. Equals 49.71. And that's up a little bit from when I actually bought them. It's up by about 60 something cents. Well, almost. It's 71 versus 18, so so that actually these are even further under melt today. If I turned around and actually someone said, I want that coin and I'll pay you melt for it, which would put this 24 something per dollar. It'd be 24.50, something like that. So it'd be, I'd make a little, but not much. And I don't ever expect to make a lot of money off these, because there really isn't much you can do with a damaged coin. A lot of people won't even touch them. They won't buy them. But for this and this, what you do with this, if you want to get a price, is you get a sterling chain and long, heavy chain that won't break easy carrying this weight, or won't break carrying this weight. Then if you have a jewelry store, you put it in a cabinet. A price about, chain might be worth $25 or $30. This is worth about 24, and you throw a price of $60 on it. And then someone who wants a necklace says, oh, that's already ready. They might give you 60 for it, and then you make a little. Because I don't know what he paid for these, and I don't even know when he got them. He probably got them over the last 10 years, at some point. Because he's been open there for 14 years. He could have bought these 10 or even 14 years ago when he first opened and had them in a drawer somewhere for years and years and years. And the only reason why I think he sells them to me is because his other option is to send them off to the refinery, I guess you could call it, or a bulk dealer of silver dollars and other 90% silver and get whatever they're willing to pay for it. And they're probably not going to pay that much because they're in the business of reselling it, just like he is. But if he bought this back when silver was around $14 an ounce and he based his price on that, being that it's 30 something to, I don't even remember exactly what it is. It's 32 something, I think. Maybe close to $33 per ounce. So if you bought it at 14, that means he probably bought this for around $10 and selling it to me for 24. He's made his money back and then some. But yeah, I like the Benjamin design. I have a bunch of them, but not as many as I think I should. Not compared to Walker's anyway. Got a lot of these. A lot of them worn like this. Some that are a lot better. I think I have enough to fill in cards like this. Enough to fill a whole collector box, probably. But they all go in the vault, and someday I'll sell them. I just don't know when. Probably won't be tomorrow or anything, but that pretty much covers the topic. When you're buying silver, 90% silver, that's common. Most of it isn't worth much more than its melt value. And if you can get stuff like this under melt, it's worth buying, because in the future, if silver goes up enough, you should be able to make your money back when you sell it. Or if I had this and I wanted to sell it on a coin show sometime, bought a table, I said, I put $5 on there. I might just leave it that way and get my money back and break even, roughly, because you can write off losses as a business. So it's like, plus you can write off the cost of going to the coin show and all that other stuff. So it's like, yeah, Slick's exactly right. But believe you me, this piece dollar is no ways near the slickest one I have. I bought one about 3 years ago for $16. It's worn out. All you see is the outline of the head and the eagle, and that's about it. So it's like, I think it's somewhere around 25 grams and change. It's pretty well gone. I have another one I got it was $1 more on the same day, but it was a little bit less worn. But you can't even tell the date of the one that is worn out. I also have a JFK 64 that it's a Denver one. It's totally slick. The date's gone on it. It's one of the craziest looking coins. I made a video for it in my shorts, and you can probably find it pretty quick. I think I labeled it Slick JFK or Slick Most Worn JFK I've ever seen, because it is. I've never seen one that was worn hardly at all. I mean, most of them I ever see look about like that one. I mean, some of them surely they got carried in their people's pockets for a while, but most people back in that around that time, a 50-cent piece just didn't get circulated. Clearly, these did, and the Barbers and the Walkers before them. A lot of these got worn some too. I have some that are worn more than this, but because this is such a flat design overall, big flat spots on it, a little wear, and it's hard to tell. I mean, you can tell on the bell lines, which this has partial, the ones that go across the bottom of the bell. If you have a higher grade one, you can see on the edge of the bell those three lines and then the ones at the bottom. If you have a higher grade one, that'll be clear. If it's designated and graded full bell lines, then it will say like Mint State 65 FBL on the slab, be it PCGS or NGC or any other grading company that might have graded them that way. But that's pretty much the video for today. But all you have to do when you're buying this is calculate. A loose coin like this is easy if you have a scale. Most coin dealers do. You drop it on the scale, you see what it weighs, and then you do the calculation. You take the melt value of 90% silver coins off the chart. Coinflation has one. Several of the websites have a melt chart. It tells you how much each coin is worth by melt, by type. I mean, whether it's a 40% Ike dollar or GFK, war nickels, dimes, quarters, half dollars. It tells you how much they're worth at melt value. So you just do that, and then you take the weight of your coin, which just is down a little because that melt value is a coin that's not worn. If it's not worn, you're probably not going to get it for under melt. But because these start at 26.73 or so grams. But even worn a little and with a hole, this one's 26 something. I think it was 26.1 and this one is 26.4 to come up with about 20 or 52.5 grams roughly. My scale shows tenths. The coin dealer I go to, his, or hundredths I mean, and his doesn't. It just shows tenths. So they said 26.1 and 26.4 for 52.5. Well, mine's a little, comes up 4.8, which is 0.02 grams less than what his scale said. So it's a little more accurate, but doesn't make a big difference. But that's Silver Melt University. Buying these at melt or below, that's how you determine it. And we'll just look at these real quick again. My brother went to DC last week and he brought me back these little medallion souvenirs. This is the U.S. Capitol building with color on it. It looks pretty cool. It's not worth much, and it was $5.99. And he also brought back a White House one, which doesn't have the red on it like this, but it looks neat. It almost looks like gold plating, but I don't think it is. It could be though, but plating on something like this is very thin and would not add any real value to the metal that it is. Underneath, if that's gold plate, is probably copper nickel. And a piece this size would only weigh about, or only be worth a few pennies, maybe 30 cents. I don't even know exactly. But you can take these out and look at the edge of the coin, or metal, I mean. And that doesn't look quite as much gold as that does it? Well, this is made in China, and it's, you look at that reading. It was actually a US dollar copper nickel coin made like a commemorative for the White House, and then they colorized it. it wouldn't look, that rim wouldn't look like that. But that is one way you can kind of tell some of the fake bullion rounds that are out there. That rim will look like this one does and not like the actual coin. I might even have a few pieces, but I don't have time to get them. But anyway, I want to thank those who stopped by. That's pretty much all I have, and we will see you next time because that's really all I have. Have a good night.